Hey friends in beauty, if you're a professional makeup artist or beauty pro who is tired of juggling multiple tools to run your business, I got great news for you. Beauty Pro Funnels is here to simplify your life and take your business to the next level. Unlike other platforms like Wix, Squarespace, or Acuity, Beauty Pro Funnels was created by a makeup artist for makeup artists. This is the world's first all-in-one software that helps you book clients, sell your products, and even launch courses all in one place. No need for separate subscriptions that drain your wallet or tools that don't speak your language as a beauty pro. With Beauty Pro Funnels, you're not just getting another booking tool. You're unlocking the ability to create multiple revenue streams, so whether you're behind the chair or not, you're making money. Imagine accepting bookings, selling your beauty products, and offering courses all without the stress of managing separate systems. That could be a big headache. Let me break it down to you one more time. Your website, build it on Beauty Pro Funnels. Your portfolio, build it on Beauty Pro Funnels. Your booking site, build it on Beauty Pro Funnels. And your e-commerce site, host it in Beauty Pro Funnels. Want to offer beauty courses or digital products? You can sell them inside of Beauty Pro Funnels, and you'll be able to send invoices, digital contracts, newsletters, and do all of your marketing directly from your Beauty Pro Funnels account. It's mind-blowing. Listen, you're going to save hundreds of dollars every single month by replacing over 10 platforms when you make the switch to Beauty Pro Funnels like Wix, Squarespace, Acuity, WordPress, Vagaro, Honeybooks, 17 Hats, Dubsado, MailChimp, Klaviyo, Kajabi, DocuSign, even Shopify. It's crazy. I know you got at least one of those. And here's the best part. Tayana and her team spent over a year building plug-and-play templates into your account for pretty much everything, so you never have to start from scratch at all. So all of your appointment confirmations, reminders, and payment reminders and stuff like that for your clients, they have already been written out for you. You can even gather reviews and referrals all on autopilot. You'll free up so many hours of time each week so you can focus on what you love, your artistry. Plus, with their mobile app, you can manage your entire business from the palm of your hand. Send invoices, schedule appointments, and even take payments on the go. I believe in Beauty Pro Funnels so much that I recently moved the Friends of Beauty site to Beauty Pro Funnels, and I am loving it. It's a game changer because it's not just a platform. I swear it is like having your personal business assistant designed specifically for makeup artists and beauty pros like you. So here's the deal. If you want to see what all the hype is about, visit getbeautyprofunnels.com/friends to get a personalized tour and see how Beauty Pro Funnels can transform your business today. That's getbeautyprofunnels.com/friends because you deserve the best tool for your beauty business.
I know homeschooling is not for everyone, but there are people who, if they had the information that they could do it the way I'm doing it, they were like, oh, I would have done that. Like, that's easy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, people don't even know that they can do it because I'm still running my businesses. I'm still working. I'm still doing martial arts, running around. Like, it hasn't really changed anything but added to my life, made my life better. It starts with knowing what kind of homeschooling you want to do. Because I didn't even know this. Like, there's different versions of homeschooling. It's not like one thing. And then my version of homeschooling was very stressful. I was like, who is gonna watch these kids for 8 hours? Like, I don't even have a minute to myself. So when I heard from the perspective of people that did it traditional homeschooling, where the mom was there, sitting there, writing the math and English, and then I spoke to other mothers who were like, oh, you can just hire a tutor. I was like, how come nobody even said that? I thought I had to be the main source of knowledge and education. They're like, no, you can be the facilitator. You know, now you get to pick, you get to pretty much customize the learning. You want your child to know algebra? Go get the best algebra teacher.
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get authentic answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. Join me every week as me and my special guest reveal the keys to longevity and success in the beauty industry, from the ups and downs of their journey to the nitty-gritty of their struggles and triumphs. We're spilling the tea on it all, and most importantly, having fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty, Aquia Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. Now, on today's episode, we have the pleasure of having Jane Harris in the Friends in Beauty guest chair for the second time. So I want y'all to really think about this. Like, what if you could really run a thriving beauty business and homeschool your kids without losing your mind? Look, as the powerhouse behind the virgin hair fantasy, Jane is proof that with intention and strategy, you can really do both. With more than 10 years in the beauty industry, the virgin hair fantasy is the top choice of wigs amongst celebrities, entrepreneurs, and women who just want to up their style game. And Jane does this and more while homeschooling her 3 children, y'all. So whether you are a beauty pro, a mom, or just someone who's trying to make space for what matters the most, this conversation is for you. Welcome to the Friends of Beauty podcast, Jane.
So good to be back in this beautiful space.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you back, y'all. Jane, this is her second time here. You were on episode 150 2 years ago.
Wow.
And this is like episode, I'm going to say off the top of my head, this might be like episode 273, I think. Don't quote me, but you were on episode 150.
I got to go pull it back up. We had so much fun. Thank you again for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, it's always a pleasure. Oh, you know what? Are you on your phone?
Yes.
Are you able to like turn it like that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yes, love
Is
it.
it good? Okay, cool.
Yes. Perfect. So y'all definitely have to go back and listen to that episode 150. Jane talked so much about her business, and like she said, we had a good time. I was thinking about it earlier when you pulled that stunt, so you pulled the wig off. We had fun.
You had a good time.
Yeah. So before we start chatting today, we're going to start off with some icebreakers like we did last time so they can get to know you a little bit outside of what you do professionally and as a mom and all those things. So first one, just give us 3 random facts about you.
I am a second-degree black belt.
Ooh, okay.
Arts, yes. Last time I think we talked, I just had a black belt, but second degree means I trained for 2 more years. So
That's amazing. Don't mess with Jane.
period. I'm vegan.
Yes, I do remember that. Yes, she's vegan.
I love to dance. Like if I wasn't making wigs, I'll be like a go-go dancer somewhere. Like I love to dance. I'm not perfect at it, but I always love learning the new dance steps. Like I'm on TikTok learning, like I'm that chick. I'll make time to learn how to, I'm be busy, but I'll learn how to dance.
I love that. Okay. Black belt. Okay. We're getting into it. Okay. So what do people always tell you that you're good at aside from what you do professionally with the wigs and everything?
I think it's service.
Hmm.
Like people always say, oh, man, you would have been a great like host, like because I just love taking care of people. So yeah, I think it's service. I think if I was like in a service only, no product, just service, I would have been a good masseuse. Not the physical part of it, just like the caring part of it. I would do that because I do that easy.
Okay. It's in you, not on you. Love it. When is the last time that you did something for the first time? Have you had any new experiences?
That is a good question. Ooh, it's been a minute.
Yes.
It's been a minute since I did something for the first time.
It don't have to be like anything crazy,
Yeah, I'm trying to think about what I've done for the first time. Well, I ate a soursop at the airport, girl. I think that's the first time I've ever been that close where they could have taken it away. But I was like, before you touch my soursop, I was on the corner, left the line. I was tearing it up. So
I know that's right.
Yeah. So that was
Where were you coming from?
St. Lucia. Girl, I had to have that soursop.
So they wouldn't let you bring it back?
They won't let it back in the country because it's a fruit. I was like, okay, say less. I was sitting in the corner and I didn't even have a napkin or nothing. It was just hands. It was a mess.
Because we're not throwing it in the trash, okay? I'm going to eat it.
No.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to think about that recently myself. It's like the first time I did something like last week is I went to Puerto Rico, but I've never traveled like overseas by myself, like on a plane. I've never traveled. I was meeting my sister there, but I had never like traveled overseas on a plane by myself. And I was like, oh, this is the first time I'm doing this. Because I'm always asking people that question. But I'm like, when's the last time I did something for the first time myself?
How was it?
It was cool. I mean, I travel a lot anyway, so I was just like, regular traveling, but yeah, it was cool.
Cool. Awesome. Awesome.
Yes. What is a current mini win or milestone that's leading up to a bigger goal that you've accomplished so far this year?
I think I started teaching more because eventually I want to have a school. I want to have an online school where I pour into people from the perspective of what I've already learned.
Yeah.
So to just finally be in the process of actually having students thinking about, oh, I would love to have students, and then to having students just feels really good. It's a very beginning stage of the journey, but it feels so good.
Yeah, yeah, I love teaching too. It just feels like you said, it just feels so good, especially when you see people's like light bulbs go off and
Yeah,
they're getting it and they're implementing it, and I just love that part.
me too.
You could be a part of their journey.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's what life's about, really.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, if you weren't the CEO and co-founder of the Virgin Hair Fantasy, is there anything else you could see yourself doing?
Yeah, I would lead families into homeschooling. Like I did not realize how much, because of, it's not just homeschooling, it's like literally changing somebody's like relationship with their child.
Wow.
And that child becomes a parent and they do the same for that. Like it is the most impactful thing you could do, in my opinion, because young minds are so impressionable, and especially with society right now, it's so needed.
Hmm.
Granted, I'm not getting paid to do it right now, but I love doing it. Like it's so, like if I was on a live talking about hair and I'm talking about homeschooling my kids, the minute somebody asks, so homeschooling, I literally take the wig off and okay, let's talk. Like it just becomes, it has become something that I really, really am passionate about. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's really, really cool. Okay, so we could just dive right into it. That leads me into like my first homeschooling. Like this is such, I mean, I guess not like a foreign concept, but a lot of people don't talk about it these days. So how did you add this onto your resume? Like how did this decision come about to homeschool your kids?
Well, it happened during the pandemic. So with the pandemic, everybody was homeschooling to or not. So when everyone went back to school, I was like, I don't
Yeah.
want to go back. And we had such a cool system that I was like, I don't need to go back no more. Like I see results within like a year. Like it just made the light bulb went off in my head. I was like, this is what I need to do. It didn't make sense time wise, but I'm like, if I can just nail this, my like this would be such a huge accomplishment for me. So it became
Yeah.
a challenge that felt so good to do. So yeah, that's how it got started. Just literally forced to do it with with the pandemic, and then
Right.
we just never went back.
Wow, that's interesting. I'm so glad that I was not in school during that time because I can't even imagine learning in that capacity and like going from being, into school every day and then being forced to
Or
learn in that
keyword.
capacity. Yeah,
Exactly.
forced to learn in that capacity and at a such young age too, where your
Yes.
attention is not normally as focused and yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot. It is.
How was that transition for your children once they realized, okay, mommy ain't sending us back to regular school, we stayed at the house?
We had to have multiple conversations, because on the day where they're playing video games, they're good. They're like, oh, this is great. And then on the day we're doing math, I'm like, do you still like this? Like it was not a one day conversation. I think we watched them for a while and had many conversations with them and saying, okay, this could be our future. But there was one thing that my husband and I did that I love. If you ever get tired of this, just say the word.
Mm-hmm.
And I think leaving that up to them gave them power to say, oh, this is not something we have to do if we don't want to. But when I heard them say, no, we're not going back, we want to, we love this, it just confirmed it for me. So it was a conversation with the kids about it, because I have a 14-year-old, I have a 10-year-old, I had a 10-year-old who's going on 20. So you
Yeah,
can't, you
okay.
can't tell her, like, she's like, what? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? Okay, makes sense. Do I have like she wants to have a conversation about it. So it was a we collaborated on what we wanted to do, and it was just great that they just to put the decision back on them, and they're like,
Yeah.
we good home. So it was great. It's been great.
It's been a collaborative effort.
Yes.
Yeah. I know a lot of people would just even wonder how it's even possible to run a thriving business and homeschool at the same time. Like what is a typical day? I know every day is probably different but like, what does a typical day look like in your world with balancing the two?
So it starts with knowing what kind of homeschooling you want to do. Because I
Okay.
didn't even know this. Like there's different versions of homeschooling. It's not like
Yeah.
one thing. And then my version of homeschooling was very stressful. I was like, who is gonna watch these kids for like I don't even have I don't even have a minute to myself. I was like,
Yeah.
in my head, before I even entertained the thought, I was like, this is not gonna work. Girl, you crazy. This is not gonna work. Like you're gonna go crazy. But then I started digging deeper and I read this book and I don't remember the title right now. But then I went on Clubhouse. I joined this homeschooling Clubhouse club where all they talk
Uh-huh.
about all days homeschooling. And these women will come on stage like, I've been homeschooling for, I homeschooled my kids and now I homeschool my grandkids. Like they've been doing it for generations. I'm like, what? Oh,
Oh,
I'm
wow.
the CEO of this and that, and I homeschool 4 of my children. I'm like, whoa. And then I spoke to my attorney. I'm like, okay, things are, changing for us because, we have our meetings about the business. And I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm going to take on this big decision to homeschool my 3 kids. He was like, why is it a bother to you? I'm like, no, I don't know math like that. Like, what am I going to teach them? I'm
Yeah.
not the most adequate in terms of math. Like I needed help in school. So I'm like, I'm not going to teach them right. I don't know what I'm doing. He was
Yeah.
like, I'm your attorney. He had been my attorney for 15 years. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's one of the most brilliant people that I know. He was like, my mom homeschooled 3 of me and my brothers. That was it for me. I was like,
Oh, wow. It like, look how you turned
I
out.
was like, you are amazing. He was like, well, like you will be fine. So when I heard from the perspective of people that did it traditional homeschooling, where the mom was there, sitting there, writing the math and the English, and then I spoke to other mothers who were like, oh, you can just hire a tutor. I was like,
Right.
how come nobody ever said that? I thought I had to
Yeah.
be the main source of knowledge and education. They're like, no, you can be the facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
Now you get to pick, you get to pretty much customize the learning. You want
Yeah.
your child to know algebra, go get the best algebra teacher. You want your child to know another language, go get a Chinese, someone who speaks Mandarin, someone who can teach
Yeah.
them Mandarin. Or maybe you want to learn. I think my daughter, she goes, oh, I want to learn about basketball. I said, okay, we'll just get a basketball coach.
Mm-hmm.
Teach you how to do it 3 days a week. So when I opened that door, or when my mind opened up to customization of the education,
That,
that was
yeah.
it. I was like, wait, I don't have to be in the equation. Oh,
And I love that too because you, like you said, you can customize it. So they're not necessarily just learning what the school system wants them to learn. You can curate their experience for them. And based off of you having real world experience yourself, like you don't even need this. Let's focus on like this over here.
exactly.
Dang, I like that because I always, until recently, always thought that homeschooling was that traditional way of you have to come up with the curriculum. You got to sit down and teach them the subjects that you like. I don't even know math myself, but then I ran into somebody recently, I think, who had a child that was being homeschooled, and they explained to me like, no, there are actual programs out here that you could just enroll them in, and they have like their online teacher and like all of that. I
Yes,
didn't even know.
yes. And I think that was what scared me in the beginning. And I think the whole mission, what I'm trying to do now is educate people. I know homeschooling is not for everyone, but there are
Hmm.
people who, if they had the information that they could do it the way I'm doing it, they'll be like, oh, I
Right.
would have been done that. Like, that's
Yeah.
easy. You know what I mean? Like, people don't even know that they could do it because I'm still running my businesses. I'm still working. I'm still doing martial arts, running around. Like, it hasn't really changed anything, but added to my life, made my life better. So, yes, for
Nice.
sure.
Yeah, how do you in particular deal with the social aspect for your children as far as them being in activities and like interacting with other people their age, making friends and things like that?
So, this is such a good question because I think this is one thing that kind of made me not do it sooner than I did. Is because I'm like, I need them to have social skills. I'm a social butterfly. I'm online every day. But when I was younger, I was not. I barely even talked in class. I was, sort of like, I was very shy, not very confident. So I'm like, I don't want my kids to kind of miss out on that part of life. And then I started reading even more.
Uh-huh.
I don't want my children to be influenced by other kids that will influence my children the wrong way anyways, right?
Yeah.
So now I get to curate their experiences. So what we do is we're very intentional about our activities. So we go to this church that has a children's center that's very children focused, and they celebrate kids, and they have, a lot of teachers, and they do activities. So we lean heavy into that. So I know every Sunday they sit with their peers, they, worshiping, but at the same time, they're interacting with children their age for at least 35 minutes once a week. And then once
Okay.
a month, yes, once a month we go to the museum, we go apple picking, we go to the park. And so we put them in situations where they're around people to, to mingle. But
Yeah.
what the difference is, we are there, it's controlled, it's watched over, because another child can undo what you worked on for a month just by one
Okay.
word. I've
Okay.
seen it. I have seen it happen. I'm not trying to protect my kids from everybody, but if I can avoid some of the nonsense, why
Mm-hmm.
not? Why am I going to sit here and let this child who ain't got no manners come tell my child, oh, you can say this? I'm like, no, you can't.
Not up in this house.
Especially at this tender age. So, my children walk up to adults because that's all they interact with. They're like, so what's your name? They're not worried about how old you are because they talk to grandma, grandpa. They're with me all day. We do lives together on
Yeah.
Instagram. Like, they're having conversation, they're interacting. It's just to watch it, because my husband, I'm like, okay, see who goes to talk. Like, we even say, go talk to those kids. Oh, those kids? Oh, okay. Like,
Nothing.
it's no big deal. Whereas I was in school and I couldn't even do that. So what was the point of that? Instead I was met with a lot of ridicule, a lot of words that I'm still trying to trauma that I'm still trying to heal from.
Right.
From even adults telling me I
From
couldn't.
dealing with somebody's funky child. That's
Exactly.
crazy.
Exactly.
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
Exactly.
That's crazy. How does the cost compare to like homeschooling versus, I know public school is free, but like how does it compare, like somebody wanted to send their child to like a private school and have that curated like nice experience than homeschooling?
I'm so glad you said that. Public school is not free. Okay, I don't know why they be saying. You still, when I had my two kids in, because we did private and we did public.
Okay.
Private school, you already know, right? Crazy. But public school was like for the two kids, it was like $3,000 a year. It's not a whole lot, but it's not free. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But with homeschooling, the only cost that's an invariable is the kind of tutor that you get. So you can get a tutor in addition to the programs that you get. Those programs are like $40 a month for all
What?
three kids.
What?
Yes,
$40 a month?
$40 a month. Yes, yes, yes. They've got math, English. I mean, this is like a curriculum. They log on for all grades, $40 a month. And then we have additional tutoring where I have this person that logs on, and she's so amazing. She's been a teacher for 30 years, and she just does it online, and she helps with my kids. She's been with my kids for like 5 years. So that is a different cost, that it could range from $1,000 to $3,000 a month for all three kids. It depends on what you want and how many hours. But if you just do the bare minimum, which is also sufficient, $40 a month, yes. And the government actually pays you. They give you a tax break for homeschooling your kids. So that takes care of that.
This is brand new news to me. I don't
Yes.
even have children, and I'm excited for the people that
Yes.
Dang, I did not. I was thinking like you gonna say like thousands or something like that.
No, not at all. Not
That's
at
incredible.
It's just going to cost you time. That's the only thing, it costs you time. And then one other thing that I noticed is the time that I spend, because we sat down with the tutor and we're like, okay, I want my son, he is now 10 or 9. He's 9. He's 9. I'm like, I want my son to learn manners and understand how to treat women. And I say women because I want him to understand that there's a difference. Do you open door for a woman? You're cordial to a woman. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Those kind of just really polite. I want him to be kind. So I'm like, what can we make? Because you don't learn that in school, really. I'm like, what can we create together to help him understand that at a young age? So My amazing tutor was like, oh, just say less. She went and grabbed books and came up with a curriculum based on what I needed for him and taught him that for 3 months. My
Nice.
son, he's 9. So he will open the door for me. The other day I took him out to Whole Foods and we went shopping. It was just me and him. It was like date night, date day with him and I.
Uh-huh.
And he's walking around with this bag. The bag was so he could barely carry. I was like, Edward, I got it. He was like, no, mommy, I have to carry the bag. I cannot let you carry the bag. I was like, oh my God.
Oh,
Working. It's working.
yes. Little
But
gentleman.
for some people, that's not a big deal. But I want to raise children that as an adult, I like being around.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yes. Wow. Speaking of the time and everything, how has the concept of homeschooling really shaped your perspective now on like motherhood and the time you get to spend with your kids and like the way you run your business too?
It has changed everything because now I'm very intentional about my mornings. And another thing that I learned, how many hours do you think the kids are in school for? Like they get to school with assembly and break time and all of that. They are only getting probably an hour of like that one-on-one time, if that. So
Mm-hmm.
what I learned from the homeschooling ladies, I call them my homeschooling ladies. I actually booked a coach. Like I literally hired a coach. She was doing a special for like $150 for an hour. I was like, sign me up. So I sat
Yeah.
in her, it was a Zoom call. I paid my $150. I'm like, please, am I qualified to do this? Just tell me, because this was in the beginning. I was really nervous about, I'm like 3 children. I don't want to stay them wrong.
Yeah.
It was like, you were already a teacher. You're the most qualified person to do this because you love
Mm.
that child. So you're gonna figure out a way to educate them. You're teaching them right now. And I was like, wow, I never thought I said, but I'm not good at math. She goes, it's not about math. She goes, like, you bake with them, that's math. Learning measurements, that's math.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's
You
stuff
teach
that
them
you actually go use in real
exactly.
life.
Exactly. Now you're teaching them practical skills that sticks, right? And then she was like, well, all you need to do is sit with them for 90 minutes. Give them that education, like focus for 90 minutes. I'm like, oh, 90 minutes, I can do that. So the tutor does an hour, and all we do is some workbooks and we do some yoga. Sometimes we meditate. It doesn't even have to be like the traditional school work. It could just be us planting something in a pot. Like we're
Mm.
growing tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers. We just did strawberries. Just the learning of that, putting a seed in the soil and
Yeah.
watering it, checking for it when there's a heavy rain. Did the plant make it okay? Like those activities are just learning. They're teaching them science. They're teaching them
Yeah.
math. They're teaching them everything, but it's done in a practical way. I'm like, I didn't
Mm.
even think about it like that until the coach. She was like, "You
Yeah.
good? Like you're
Yeah.
good."
I like that because I've never even thought about it in that way too. But it's like the hands-on experience of life, like just actually doing the things and learning in that way
Yeah.
practically. I like that.
Yeah.
I wish I was homeschooled.
Me too. Me too. Honestly.
I wish
And,
I was
and,
homeschooled.
and the funny thing, my 14-year-old, when she was 13, I think it was last year, she was like, Mom, she read Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Okay.
Because every 3 months she has to read. We call it big girl book. I'm like, this is the book that we call them the books that we read as adults that we wish we read as kids. So she's a really fast reader and she loves to read. So we're like, we know you like, your fantasy books. Like she loves Percy Jackson, those,
Yeah,
I was like, you can read those, but every 3 months I need one big girl book. Okay.
I like that.
So her big girl book, the one that really stood out was Robert Kiyosaki, of course, with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And she was like, Mommy, I really am interested in real estate. I was like, okay. I said, well, you're interested in real estate, so that means you're interested in money. Let's start reading some money books. She has read like 5 money books. And then she fell into investing. She's like, oh, Mom, this is what we need to
I
do.
love this.
She's like, Mom, if I can do this, then I don't have to really work. Then I can really cook and travel the world. I was like, oh, okay. I said, so what do you want to do? She was like, I think I want to start investing in the stock market.
Yes, girl.
She started investing in the stock market. Of course, the other two, they're like, Mommy, we want to invest in the stock market. I said, okay, before you invest in the stock market, you have to read a money book. From one money book, now my son has read 4 money books. My daughter has read about 4 too. The older one, she's read like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But he was so great at this book. He reviewed this money book. The author like contacted us, put us on his page because he now understands money in a way, like the way my son understands money. I kid you not, I probably understood money like that in my 30s.
Right.
Like it's just it's shocking. All 3 of them have brokerage accounts. They put their little dollars in there, but it's not the point of the money they have in there. They have a little coin, little dollars in there, but it's the point of understanding that if you like GameSpot, GameSpot or whatever the
GameStop.
GameStop. Sorry,
Yep. Yep.
I
Go
can't
ahead, get you some
because I
stock.
can't believe you're spending $60 for a video game. I'm like, if you like that so much, you can invest that $60 in the stock market, and you can still buy the game, but at least now you have spread your money out. So,
Mm-hmm.
oh, mommy, I didn't think about it that way. My kids are invested in AT&T. I'm like, it's $18 a stock, and you get dividend on top of that. They're
Ooh.
like, oh my God. So they understand the concept of money, things that I didn't even know. So all
Right.
3 of them are invested in the stock market. My daughter wants to do real estate, and she's going to use some of her money when it time gets to invest in real estate. So now we have a plan, but they have the advantage of age because they start now. They can't even mess it up.
They are so set. I'm
They
so
can't mess
excited for
it up.
them.
I'm like, you're putting little money in there, but trust me, compound interest is going to grow. Keep putting your little pennies in there.
Man, I'm really excited for this next generation of children that come from like people around our age because I feel like they're going to be so set, like just because we know what we missed out on. And I think we're just so intentional about making sure that the next generation doesn't like miss out on those things. So the fact I think I learned about stocks when I was like 12, and somebody had given me the task of like watching the news every Friday to look at the ticker and like all of that stuff. But unfortunately at the time, like I didn't have anybody in the home to reinforce it. It's only now into my adulthood that I'm starting to get back into the stock market and investing and forex and option, like all the things. But I feel like if at that time if somebody was like reinforcing it, I would have been set like
What?
girl.
I
That's
started investing in the
incredible.
stock market at 30. Like, wait, 37. Like,
Hmm.
come on. I didn't even know. And it was so intimidating. I was like, what is that? And to think all I had to do was just read a book. Just read a book and learn it. But they're on it now. They're doing great. I'm just like, wow. And they can't, of course, they can't buy from, we have to log on because they
Hmm.
have what's
Because
the
they're minors and stuff.
yes, I forget the name of it, but it's a
Is it
brokerage
like a custodial account
custodial
or something?
account. That's
Yeah.
right. So we log on and we make them with their little fingers like push buy or sell. And then we ask them, why do you want to buy that stock? And then a lot of times they'll say, I don't know. So that's the point. We want you to read about it. So my son, the other day, I'm like, so what do you want to buy? He goes, I don't know. I said, well, read about it. Do you know
Yeah.
he went in Chat GPT? Said, what are the I was like, I'm done. Now I'm like, you're being resourceful. You're being
Yes.
resourceful. I don't want you to think you could just push buttons. I want you to do your research before you buy, right? So
Yes.
it's the whole thing has been amazing because I'm learning too, because I'm not a pro. I just started investing 10 years ago. I'm not a
Hmm.
pro. And when I say 10 years, like mentally investing, I didn't physically invest till they made me do it. I'm like, I can't open a brokerage account for them and I don't have one.
Right.
Literally, we started investing the same time with my kids because they pushed me into it because they were reading. They're like, wait, mom, if this is the case, why aren't we doing it? I'm like, oh, you're right. Why aren't we doing it?
Yes. I
That's
love that.
what education would do. That's what exposure would do. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know. And I love
don't
that
know
they're getting
what you
out
don't.
there and they're being
Exactly.
resourceful. They know how to do their research and find answers and like implement. They're implementing. A
Yes.
lot of adults don't even do that. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. Okay. So we hear a lot about the benefits of the homeschooling. What are some of the challenges you're facing?
I have to be honest with you. It's the beginning is I would say I felt inadequate. It's the confidence. I was
Hmm.
so I was like, okay, am I doing this? I would say the first 2 years, I doubted myself. Every decision I was like, oh no, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm messing up. This can't be right. The minute I see something that's not right, maybe somebody, I go to a family affair. And that's another thing. When you're on this journey, whoever's listening, your family's gonna be the worst ones to like, because it's almost like they don't mean no harm, but that seed of doubt is so dangerous, especially when you're in the phase of you're not really sure yet, you know? And they're like,
Hmm.
girl, what's gonna happen to them? Their future. Oh my God. So that doubt was there in the beginning. But what took care of that doubt for me was hiring a coach. And
Hmm.
and we're not talking a lot of money, like the $150. Once that lady went away, I booked another coach. I was like, who else
Yeah.
can help me? And those women just built me up. They made me so confident about what I was doing. But I think now the challenge is every beginning of a semester, I feel overwhelmed, you know? And
Yeah.
I just like, oh, okay, she's now 14. What are we reading? What are we learning? And then I'm like, okay, am I going to be capable in this phase? Right?
Yeah.
This is a new season, especially with the oldest. The two younger ones, because I've already done it with the older one, I'm okay. But the oldest one, because we going into new territory, I'm like, she's close to going to college. Like, what are we doing? Right?
Yeah.
So every time I feel that overwhelm, I call the coach. I'm like, girl, can you put me in a session with you just to help me on that journey of building my confidence as I go? But that's the only challenge is that beginning phase of a new season with her. I always feel like, oh, the little Jade,
Yeah.
my heart creeps in like, girl, what are you doing? You're over your head. And then thank God I remember who I was.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, girl, you got this.
Man, you know what this really made me think about too? Like, just as someone who doesn't have children yet, I just often think about how scary it is to have children. Just like how you mentioned, like one child can just put a seed or something in their head and they coming home with new words and new attitudes and stuff like that. But even as a auntie or what a godmom and stuff, the concern of the rise in like school shootings is crazy to me.
Can you say
Like
that again?
for people to
Like,
be like, oh, what you taking your kids out of school? At least I don't. That's one less thing that you have to worry about as a parent is somebody coming in and shooting the school up. Like that's one place you would think your child would be safe, but now in this time it's like so scary to even send them to school because you don't even know. That's why the kids got cell phones now, younger and younger, because they need to communicate. It's just like,
exactly. I feel like sometimes I meet parents that are like, girl, you doing too much. Like that's crazy. I can't wait to take him to school. And then every now and then I'll meet that mom who's like, pull me to the side, like, I want to do it so bad, but I'm scared. I'm like, I understand. And a lot of them are like, oh my God, Jane, I'm scared for I really am scared. Like the school they're going, I'm scared, you know? And imagine just knowing that you could do it too, you know?
mhm.
So that, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. Wow. So when it comes to the business though, like what like do you have any productivity hacks for other moms who are trying to do it all as well? Like what is the structure look like with having them in school and then also when you're ready to like do business stuff?
So you have to have discipline.
Okay.
I became more disciplined since I started homeschooling because you can't be like you're not gonna have a business, you know. So I've been in business for this year's my 15th year. So I was like, I don't want my business to decline because I'm homeschooling. If anything, I want it to be, more fruitful. So I realized quickly that my schedule was flawed. I'm like, girl, you had it. You're not doing, you need to get it together. So I had
Uh-huh.
to be more disciplined. And it took, growth to, put the mirror on myself and go, no, this is your fault. You can't
Okay.
get, I was like, I was getting up, normally, when I'll drop them off in school, that would be it. I'm like, no, no, you need to get up earlier. You need to get up earlier so you can have that morning time because there's no off button. They're not going anywhere. They're here.
Mm,
So getting up an hour earlier than I normally would has really changed my life because it gave me time to strategize, to plan my day. And then understanding that you don't need but an hour and a half to really teach your child. And if you are a business owner, I suggest you hire a tutor. So you're
mm,
not the main source of education. You're not
yeah.
the main source of knowledge. So you have somebody who is in place that is teaching your child. Like we have a tutor, she starts teaching them at 9 o'clock. Every hour, a child goes in front of that camera. It's Zoom. We do it via Zoom. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like no stress. So they do an hour with the tutor, and as the other one comes off, they go right back to their reading session. So in between the teacher, they're reading. So by noon, we would have covered all the kids. And then guess what? They're going to playtime. People are like, well, that's a lot of playing. What do you think they're doing in school?
Right. Playing all day.
What
If
do
they
you think
even in
they're
school,
doing in
they got
school?
all these half days now and no school and
At least now you can kind of curate their games and make the games educational, right?
yeah.
So we do that, and then by 1 o'clock, they're done. Now I'm like, what do you want to do? We kind of fall into the Montessori style. Like, what kind of workbooks do you want to work on? Oh, you don't want to work on workbooks? Oh, what do you want to do? Oh, mommy, I just want to color. Okay, fine, let's color. And then I have a daughter. She wants to be a DJ. So she's how old is Elia? Elia is 10 years old, and I have never met a 10-year-old. She plays jazz. She's like, mommy, I'm gonna mix this jazz with this Afro beats, and just to see her blossoming because she has time to do it. And she's having
Yeah.
fun. She's reading books about music. So I think what I learned most about homeschooling is I'm not here to like make her feel bad for what she doesn't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is that she loves, I'm here to magnify that and blow it up because that's where her genius is, right?
Yeah.
So yes, we do the basic math and we do the basic reading and politics or whatever, government, whatever you want to call it, like very, very like basic, just to get them to pass the state exam, so they know
Right.
that. But what we double down on is what it is they actually enjoy. My daughter loves money. So anything money and business and real estate, she's all into it. My other daughter loves music. She wants to be a DJ. So we use music and kind of put the hidden math in it, put hidden language and
Yeah.
put it hidden. Because I'm like, well, how many musicians do you think that are that? So that she's doing math, but she thinks she's doing music, but she really doing math. My
Yeah.
son wants to draw, so we're like, okay, can you draw some of the African American African American inventors? Now he's drawing, but he's learning about African American inventors that they don't teach him in school. So
Yeah.
it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
And I love how it's like individually catered, of course, because they have
Yeah.
the time and the dedication for them alone. Because one of my sisters is a teacher, and she literally she's working on a children's book just to show the different ways that kids learn. Because she
Oh,
works with special needs kids, but they all have different ways that they learn. Like somebody might be dyslexic, or somebody might be on the spectrum, and this one might have an ear thing. So they all have to learn differently. Where I
yeah.
feel like when you go to school, it's like everybody's learning the same way, and if you don't learn this way, you're gonna get left behind.
You're gonna fail out of school, and they're gonna put you in a class that you don't know what you're doing. Meanwhile, you're a genius.
Yeah, it just wasn't catered to
Yeah.
this person likes music. Let me make it so that they can understand it this way. So I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm so excited for your children.
I'm so excited. And my husband and I, when, of course, when they're sleeping, we're like, they're so lucky.
They
They're so
are.
lucky.
One day if they don't realize it now, when they grow up and then they start to have conversations with other people around their age and hear their experiences, they're going to be like, "Oh, dang, that happened to you." Well, they
Yeah.
are so fortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, okay. So where do you think people could start though, if they're feeling overwhelmed, like how you were, and doubting themselves on the homeschooling tip? Like, where should they start?
I think they should start with a book,
Mhm.
really understand what learning is. Like, I did not know what the school institution was about, how it started. Like, I literally had to read on what the government had in mind when they created schools. And that's a
Mm.
whole nother conversation. And when you understand the psychology behind the school system, then you're able to kind of declutter in your mind, like what it is that you think is traditional learning and what is not, like, and then you're able to position yourself to set your children up for success and understanding that learning comes in different ways,
Hmm.
right? And I think the purest form of learning is love. When you pour love into your child, everything, like their walls come down. I remember my son was like, so mommy, if I study that will make you happy. I was like, it'll make me happy, but it'll make you happier. And he's like, okay, mom, I really don't want to do that, but I'll read it because of you. I'm like, okay. And then he ended up loving it. But it started because he was like really wanted to, he saw that I was really trying to help him, and he understood that the love was what led me to wanting him to read the book to begin with. And the time that you gain with your kids, the time, like
Yeah.
you can't even. So I would say read a book, like be intentional about getting a book, how to homeschool, homeschool for dummies, different ways to homeschool, not read one book, read 3 books, because you need to understand what it is you're scared of. For me,
Yeah.
I just wasn't confident in myself. And because of my education, I barely made it in math. Like I did enough just to pass. Like I was like, oh my God, I can't fail it. So
Mhm.
when you hear that story from other people who were able to raise successful lawyers, doctors, engineers, and artists and entrepreneurs from homeschooling them, it's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
Yes, your daughter's about to kill it. Both of your daughters about to kill it. All your kids, like, wow.
Thank you, God.
So I know some people will probably go back to episode 150 and learn more about your journey, but I want to talk about the hair business as well, because you really built a brand that women love and trust over the last 15 years. What do you contribute to the longevity in such a saturated market like hair?
N- Fail. It's okay to fail. Just I think knowing that it's okay to fail. So when I do fail, I'm like, oh, okay, then I'll bounce off, because I should have been gone years ago. Like I should have
Mm,
been done. I should have packed up and left many years ago. Like there were certain things, whether it was lack of funds, no funding, no clients, bad press, whatever it was over the years that I felt like shook us, we should have been done. But that
yeah,
understanding that failure is a part of the process and bouncing back off of it, I think that's what's kept us here. Because I look at other people, I'm like, ooh, that happened to us, but we kept fighting. We didn't give up. Just not giving up and just going forward with it and understanding that tomorrow will be better. I think that's what's kept us. Because the truth is, when I was failing, none of those books helped me. Like all the quotes, I was like, throw all that away. But
yeah.
just literally without even seeing the silver lining, like literally you look in the bank account, everything is gone. uh, you get an email from a client who's may not be as happy as you want them to be, and you're like, okay, it's dark right now, but understanding that there's a possibility tomorrow that there could be a phone call from a TV show that wants you to come do hair on Saturday. And that
Right.
happens all the time. But when you're in that moment and you're about to give up, you don't think about that. So I have trained my brain now where I'm like, this is dark right now. But remember that other time when it was dark and it still, light came the next day? I want you to remember
Mm,
that. So I hold on to those moments when I go through a tough time so I can get through the next day. Because some of us just need to get to the next day. Just get to
yeah.
the next day. So resilience.
Yes.
Resilience.
Resilience, because like you said, a lot of things that probably would have took other people out. They were like, you were like, I'm just gonna press on. This is a part of the journey, a part of the testimony one day.
Yeah, you just keep going because it's easy to say, oh, it's been great and successful. No, there's been some really tough times when I was like, oh, how are we going to make it through that? Look
Yeah.
at the tariffs. The tariffs took people out. People gave
Yeah.
it up. People were gone before. And look, they changed the law. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I had wig makers like, Jane, it's over now. I'm going to go get a 9 to 5. I'm like, okay, there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, but you giving up too soon. You just have to keep it going. So things
Hmm.
like that, will happen. And you just have to keep going.
They was ready to throw in the towel.
Oh, yes.
Dang, how do the tariffs affect your business in particular?
Well, it did because our vendors are in. We have like half of our vendors in Malaysia, China, and in India, and all those countries where had the tariffs. So the one thing that helped me was I built a loyal clientele, and a lot of businesses that didn't price their products. If you have a low margin to begin with, that would take you
Mm,
out like that, and that's the whole point. And that's what I teach. I'm like, my wigs are not the price they are because I want to they're the price they are because I need to set myself up in a place where I have great service and I'm able to pay my staff, the best. Like the women that work for me, they're doing well, and the wig makers that work for me, they work for me for 10 years because we pay the best. So the work they do it with love, and they're happy and they're comfortable and they're elevating themselves. So I don't want to be the cheapest on the market. And then here we are, a customer calls you, oh, Jane, my wig got lost. You're like, well, ma'am, that's on you. No, if my client calls me, my wig got lost in the mail, literally just happened 2 days ago. Ms. Jones, it's okay. We'll replace it for you. We've already kind of set ourselves up that we can do things like that because we've already built a business that focuses on taking care of the client. Like if I can't help you to where I want to help you, then I'm not pricing my product properly. So because of the margins that we had, it really helped us because I'm like, okay, I didn't go up on my price because I was able to eat some of that cost because it was already there set up to do that.
Right. And that's what most people are expecting people to do too, is like go up on their price to kind of offset everything.
And you know, the funny thing, we kind of actually we had some sales during that time just to prove a point. Like, we want you to know we got you. So my clients are like, well, your prices went down because we wanted them to understand that we weren't going to go up. So we used it as part of our marketing to say, actually, just to let you know we good, we run the sale right now.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. So just setting yourself up so your price matches, you know, the quality of work that you're giving. And I'm not trying to be Amazon. I'm not trying to, you know, be the cheapest. I'm like, I want to be the best, give the best service, have the best products, not the cheapest. That's not my goal. Yeah, because the cheapest, then you run into issues. You're not able to service a client properly. People calling you, nobody picking up. No one's checking the DMs. Like, you're not even able to hire staff because you're not set up properly. You can't afford it because, you know, you're not priced properly. So I learned that from, you know, we weren't always like this, but over the years, I learned that, oh no, I'm thinking I'm doing them a favor, but I'm not. Because my client that buys my wigs, she just wants a good wig. And whenever she calls, she just wants me to pick up. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So right now with all the different changes that are happening, do you think it's still a good time for people to start like in the hair business?
100%.
Okay.
100%. Because one thing a woman is not gonna do is she's not gonna look a hot mess.
That's
Like,
so true.
the sky could be falling, baby. And another thing that I did, I remember when the pandemic happened, I was like, okay, I don't know if we gonna last. Like, it's a pandemic. Like, nobody was buying. Remember when the first news broke and people were like holding on? I did my research. You know, the flu, I don't know if you remember, it was 1918 when something similar to this happened where people were wearing masks. It was like, you know, you saw pictures of black and white, people wearing masks. And it was similar to the pandemic. It was like I think it's called the flu or the something. I forget what they called it.
I know what you're talking about. It was some big nasty thing.
Right. It was a thing going around. It was kind of similar to this. And I'm like, what businesses survived during that time? Beauty was number 2. Food was number 1. Baby, beauty is an essential.
People not gonna be out here looking a hot mess, like you said.
They're not gonna look a hot mess. People
they're like, if I got my mask on, I'm gonna have my lashes and my hair laid.
Hair done.
Yeah.
So it's a recession-proof business. I'm sorry, like, when a woman gets married, she's getting her hair done. She gets divorced, she's getting her hair done. She break up with a man, she's getting her hair done. She's getting married. Like, there's so many reasons why she's gonna get her hair done. Okay. And get makeup done and lashes and all of that. So I think beauty, you know, as much as people want to call it, oh, whatever, girl, check on your girl. She's going to the hair salon right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of people like just assume that they have to start, like, in order to start a successful beauty brand, they got to go big, like from day one. And I know you started pretty small with yours, but like, what is something small that you started with or did early on that had a really big impact later on in the Virgin Hair Fantasy?
Personalized service. Like get so personal that it's uncomfortable. Like, I remember when I would talk to every client that purchased, I would call them. Right. Or, you know, every client that purchased from me, I would call them. And then when I would talk to them, I would take notes. And then I would call them again 2 weeks later on purpose. And I'm like, I know we just spoke 2 weeks ago. I just want to make sure things are still good. And the reason I would call them is to shock them. And based on the notes that I would take. And you know who does this? Fine dining restaurants. They do it all the time. When you call in, they put those notes in. So when you show up, they're like, oh my gosh, how was your trip to Denver?
Yeah.
You remember? It's in the notes. You know, so when you bring up stuff like that, all you got to do is do it one time, and that marks a spot in their heart, and you locked in with them. Because they're like, oh girl, she remembered my da 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 da. And I think being very personal in the beginning really helped my business. And I remember when we first got our first like growth, when we quote unquote blew up, I lost that. And I thought I didn't need that anymore. Oh boy, did I get humbled. And I remember clients, because I saw the difference in the sales. And I remember clients who call and they're like, Jane, I remember when you used to, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get back to that. I just didn't know how to scale it. I didn't
Yeah.
know I could scale it. I was like, how can I scale me? Because I call them and I joke with them and I'm a hot mess and they know it. And I joke with them. I'm like, how can I scale that and be authentic? Girl, I didn't realize all I had to do was hire a virtual assistant and train them and it would have been a wrap. But I didn't know that. I didn't have that knowledge then. Now
Mhm.
I got like 3 women just like me. They even happier. Hi, my name is Luella from the Virtual Pharmacy. How are you? What? Girl, we do Zoom meetings. If you're not energetic in the Zoom meeting, you can't get the job. It's simple. I need somebody who's to the point where I'm like, girl, she
You
hype.
can feel it through the camera.
Yes. So I got, matter of fact, I'm actually recruiting for one more now. Somebody who's gonna call them on their birthdays and just start screaming and singing happy birthday on the phone. I want to go in. So now you will never get that kind of call from Gucci, Fendi, Prada, but you're gonna get it from the Virgin Fantasy. So I'm looking to hire somebody who's gonna call them on their birthdays and just kind of go off and sing happy birthday. I haven't found it yet. But that's how much I want to level up when it comes to
Yeah.
that personalized service with my clients.
I like that a lot, and it makes so much sense. Even when I have like smaller events, my wrist will let me do it. I like to write like personalized notes to each person. So I had a Friendsgiving event in November, and I was pretty familiar with most of the people that signed that attended. So I wrote personalized things to each one of them, and they absolutely loved it. They were like,
Of
"Oh my God, I love
course.
the note," because
Of
it was
course.
specific to them. It wasn't like a generic like thing that everybody got. It was like, "No, I'm so happy that you came. I remember this about you," that type of thing, and they absolutely loved it. So I love that you do that for and it makes so much sense that it would have longevity. And like you said, you duplicated or quadrupled yourself now with virtual assistants.
Yes. Yes.
Things could be so simple sometimes. We just make it hard.
We just make it hard.
Dang. Okay. So you also have the Start Your Wig Business Challenge. You have to tell us about more about that.
So I think my mom passed last year.
Sorry
And
to hear that.
thank you. And I
Oh.
think Start Your Wig Business Challenge was something I wanted to do, but I'm like, oh, girl, I ain't got time. Like I'm so busy. And so I would just dibble and dabble in teaching, go on Clubhouse, drop a little gem and run out. And I wouldn't do nothing for 3 months. And then when my mom passed, I was like, what is the one thing that you need to do that you're not doing consistently? And that was it. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to start this challenge where I put myself out there and I'll just start teaching people how to start the wig business. And it wasn't in the beginning, I didn't have any students. I'll have one person listening in, 2 people, but I understood that. Girl, remember when you were just selling one bundle? This is the same thing. You got to work your way up. So
Mm.
it just became something that grew last year. I went from one student, we taught over 300 students last year.
Wow.
Yes, over 300 students came through my program, and this year took a little break, but I'm gonna hit back heavy. I'm hoping to do 500 students this year, just to give them that opportunity to start the wig business. And we're literally taking people, but my goal is to teach. I'm not teaching just anyone how to start a wig business because of my resources. I'm teaching people who have regular 9 to 5 how they can start a wig business on the side.
Hmm.
And I picked that niche because that's where I started. So I know that very well, right?
Hmm.
You have to have some kind of money to do something. So I'm like, if I'm going to teach, I want to teach you the way I learned. So because I had a 9 to 5 when I started my wig business. So I want to teach other people who have 9 to 5s how they
Yeah.
can start their wig business because it's literally what I did. So when I became very specific, that was it. I'm like, I'm talking to lawyers, doctors, engineers, stay home mom. Like you have to have something going on. And then and then eventually we can transition you into doing the wig business full time. So,
Okay. So when they walk away from this challenge, they'll have all the tools that they need to
my gosh,
launch.
way more. I watch the reviews of the class is kind of how I judge the class. It's not only just teaching them how they can walk away, starting a business, whether it's coming up with a name, getting legal, getting funding, or the confidence behind the brand. I had people who had cleaning companies, people who have clothing business. They signed up for the class because of what we're teaching. We're teaching you how to hire a virtual assistant. We're teaching you how to come up with a business name. We're teaching you how to market your business, how to get personal with your clients. So that could apply to any business. So when you leave the class, you have the tools that you need and the confidence to start your own, not just
Okay, how long?
but any business.
Yeah, how long is it? How long is the challenge?
It's 4 days,
Okay,
an hour and a half each day.
nice. Okay, y'all better sign up for this challenge.
Period.
I love that. You know the craziest thing too. I said, let me ask Jane about this. I be getting these emails from people who want me to try their hair, but I'm like, obviously y'all did not research me because what am I? uh, what can I do with the wig?
Granted, there are people who wear locks and they're able to put a wig on, but if you do your research on you, you don't do that. You
Yeah,
don't, I don't see you do, anything but your beautiful hairstyle. Now, if they had a product line that would be
yeah.
good for natural hair, that would make sense.
Like, should I be like taking these wigs? I'm like, it'd be funny for me to review the wigs, and I have no idea what to do with a
Exactly.
wig.
Yeah.
And just like
That's
sell
something
it.
they didn't do their research
I
because they
get it
would.
a lot though. In my email, I get them a lot, and I just delete them. I don't even respond because I'm like, what am I supposed to? Because my hair is super long, so I have
Yes, I've
worn a
seen
wig
it.
one time.
Beautiful.
Thank you. My hair is like past my butt, so for me to put a wig on, it's a very long process to get my hair down flat enough to
To do that.
put it on. So
Oh.
I've only done it once, but I was like, maybe if it's something else I could do with this hair, I have no idea.
I love your hair though. I love the way you style it. I need to get your whoever does your hair. You don't do it yourself. There's no way. No.
Do my own hair. Yep.
No. You
Yep.
do such a good job.
Thank you.
I can't wait. Do you have a product line?
I don't. I don't.
Need to talk soon.
Yeah, let's talk about it because like yeah, I don't even have I don't even have dedicated products that I'm like gung ho about for my hair. So I'm like, yeah, maybe
Your
I
hair.
should come out with something.
Yes, for my husband has locks. My 3 children have locks.
Mm-hmm.
Love locks.
Nice.
Yes.
Love. Okay. So what's the biggest mistake? So now that you're teaching other people to launch their hairlines and everything, I'm sure that hopefully they won't be making mistakes, but what are some mistakes that you've seen other people make in the hair business or the wig entrepreneurs
It's
space?
consistency. I see a
Mm,
lot of great brands with great ideas, but they don't
mm,
stick it in long enough to get the result. And I was guilty. I'm still learning to do that. It's being consistent enough to see the result that you need. The consistency behind this business, because one thing about it is we're in the beauty business. I think people don't even do their research. Like when you do your research behind what you're doing, it gives you backbone. So when those days when, for example, you don't get any sales, you're like, I already know the numbers. I may not get it today, but it's coming because I know the numbers, because
yeah,
success leaves clues. Like I already know the numbers. So if you know that beauty is a business that will always grow, and if you're not growing, you're like, oh no, it's not the industry, it's me. So let me change something up. But if you think the industry is sinking and it's not doing well, you're going to fall into that mental space of, oh no, this business is not good, I'm going to switch to another business, and then you go to
yeah,
another business. But if you do your research behind the business that you're in, then you're making better decisions behind it. Like even when things were rough in Virgin, many times I just like, nah, it's gonna come around. I already know the numbers. Like I may not be getting it today, but I'm gonna get it tomorrow.
yeah,
Because I know the business, I have the information. So I do a lot of research behind the brand, not just my industry, but the entire brand around it. Like, okay, so I don't do makeup, but how is makeup doing right now? If makeup is doing good, why hair is right next to it?
yeah,
So, just kind of also researching sister industries around beauty will help you, whether you're, in hair or not.
yeah. That makes sense.
So
Do your research.
consistency is key.
Yeah, it's so much noise out here. It's so much noise. I know one time I had to stop one of my favorite podcasts too that I watch is the Social Proof podcast. But at
I
one
love
point,
that podcast.
well, girl, I had to stop watching it at one point because every week I was like, dang, I want to do government contracts.
Me
Dang, I want to
too.
clear the business. I want to be a business. Like I just had to stop after a while because I was like, it's all looking so good. And I'm
Because we're
getting distracted.
creatives. We want to do everything. Yes.
I was getting distracted. It's so much noise out here.
Yes.
That so what boundaries would you say boundaries or systems have helped you maintain, I'm not even gonna say balance, but harmony between your personal life and your professional life?
Oh my gosh. Having virtual assistants,
Mm.
yo,
What platform are you using to find them? Are you
oh,
using like Upwork or PH Jobs?
that's it. I use PH Jobs now, but before I was using an agency. Big mistake. I mean, not big mistake. They were just charging me too much, right?
Yeah.
So I decided because I wanted to hire more VAs. I'm like, wait, where can I get them at a better price that will help my business? PH Jobs, baby. I went on
Yeah.
there, but now you have to have a different set of skills when you go on PH Job because for the agency, they hired the people for you. But when you go on PH Jobs, you're on your own. So you have to
Mhm.
have recruiting skills, you have to have interview skills, you have to have organization skills. So when they come on board, you're the one doing everything. So I'm like, so I then had to tap into my 9 to 5 skills.
Mhm.
When I used to work a 9 to 5, I was a store manager at a shoe store. And to hire people. I was like, okay, let me put that hat back on. So I would just recruit. Like I just hired a videographer. I used to spend so much money on videos. And right now, video is king. Okay. You need to edit
Mhm.
those videos, whatever. So I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta find someone. And this beautiful girl listed her job. And I was like, if I can get somebody for $6 an hour, I'll be happy. Girl, I found someone for $5 an hour.
Wow.
And she is amazing. She's been working with me now for 3 months. She has helped me. When I tell you, I have worked with a lot of videographers in Atlanta, New York. She has done the best videos for me that I've ever seen in my whole entrepreneur.
Oh, so what is she doing? She's editing
She
or
is editing all the
okay.
videos. She's putting like captions. You talking about zooming in and out. She's doing all the things. Okay, transitions.
I need her information.
Exactly. I will send it to you. She is amazing. So it's like, I was like, wait a minute. And I just found it like 3 months. She's been working with me now for 3 months. So
That's
having
fantastic.
virtual assistants has been a game changer. And I got so good at it that in the last 6 months, you're not going to, I have hired over 15 virtual assistants for my students.
Oh wow, yep.
Because I got tired of they'll be in my class. And then you talking about this mom. She goes, oh my God, I'm breastfeeding. I work a 9 to 5 and I don't know how to post content. I'm like, okay, you don't even have to learn how to post content. You just have to hire somebody. Where can I find someone? I was like, okay. I started hiring virtual assistants. So I have a service on my other business where I hire virtual assistants for people. I
Get
mean,
all the coins. Get all the
it
coins.
fell on my lap because I was like, if I'm gonna do this, you already know I need to make some money off of it because I put my heart into it. And I was like, and I told my husband, like, how much can I charge for this? And he's like, well, let's start with us. I started charging $500, and that was my first price. No, my first price was $3,000. Nobody bought. I was like, okay, maybe that's too high. I'm serious. This is like real talk. And then my husband's like, okay, maybe you should change the price to something more affordable. I said, okay, you know what? Let me do it for $500. Change it to $500. Literally in the last like 6 months, I've had like 7 clients, and that's just real.
Mhm.
Like, and it's not even my main job. It's just
Right, that's a little extra.
exactly. And I haven't even I barely advertise it. I've hired 2 people for a real estate agent. We've hired another person for like a stay-home mom. She just needs someone to help her with like here and there, ordering groceries, sending flowers. She's like really busy with a lot going on. And she just needs someone to assist her with all of the other extra stuff. I mean, you name it, like not even only the wig business students, all the other students and friends have kind of hired me to do, because they heard my story, how much, girl, they're like, how do you have so much free time? Because every time they call me and
Wow.
say, you want to go to lunch? I'm like, sure, let's do it.
Let's do it, girl.
I'm free.
Mhm. But what about the kids? Are the kids good?
Exactly. So yeah.
So you're just like doing the interview process for them, and like, how does
So
that work?
yes, I recruit the agents based on their resume. I pick them out and then I interview them. My interview questions are, of course, the skill that I learned from my old job. So I interview them, and once they pass my interview, we record everything via Zoom. So once they pass my interview, I start to train them. I say, so tell me, okay, I want to create a piece of content around what's going on right now with Diddy. How can you relate that to my business?
Yeah.
And I literally had someone say, that doesn't relate to your business. It's negative. Tired. Because I need you to use your brain, right? Right. If I'm,
Mhm.
because the people that I'm going to have you work for, they don't know a lot about social media. And if you're not understanding that not all news is good news to be on a business, then I don't know if I want you working for my client. So I use those kind of trick questions,
Right, that's a trick
something that I
question.
learned. I'm like, so the DD stuff going on right now, how can we use that traffic and bring it back? Ain't no bringing nothing over to that traffic. You don't want that kind of
Yeah, you
press.
don't want them people.
Not all publicity is good. So I need the agents that are working with these brands to understand that staying in your lane is a good lane to be on. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So those are
Mm-hmm.
the kind of questions that I feel like the average person will know to ask. Like not that I'm trying to trick them, but I need to make sure that mentally you're in the right place. Right.
Yeah.
So, I do that. And then after that, then I pass them on to the amazing client. I'm like, here is your agent. And they watch the video and they interview them. And if they pass, that's it. So I hire and I train. And then that's it. It literally takes me 2 weeks. It doesn't take long. So.
This is incredible.
And can
I
I
just
tell you
love
something?
talking to you. I just always learn so much. I'm always like so pumped up afterwards, like, yes, because you
But
be
you know
getting to
what's
the
great?
money.
You know what's great? My virtual assistant, my first virtual assistant that I've had for 7 years, she has gotten so good that I don't even have to do the interviews no more. Because she
Mm-hmm.
knows what I want, she knows what I look for. So she'll do the interview, she'll do the initial interview with them, and then I come in and do the last interview, and then we pass it on to the client. So both of us tag team them. I mean, I'm to the point now where by the end of this month, I won't even do any interviews. So that's now passive income for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even have to be on the calls anymore.
I just love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so inspired. I'm
Thank
so inspired. So I know you mentioned like your morning routine and yoga and those type of things, but how do you personally recharge when you're juggling so much? The business, homeschooling, your marriage, and just being Jane.
For me, it's the morning. I just pump. I put a lot because you know what happens. You open that email and something just throws you off. So for
Yeah.
me, my mornings are sacred. Like sacred. I used to just play with my morning. Where my sister will call me and I'll jump to the phone. Sis, if you're listening, I love you. But they all understand now that there's a certain time in the morning that I can't even pick up the phone. You know what I mean? Like if it's
Mhm.
an emergency, text me, I'll see it on the screen. But when I wake up in the morning, that prayer in the morning and after the prayer, I have to exercise. I have to do, and I don't do much, literally 10 minutes, whether it's push ups, a little jumping. I have to exercise. And while I'm exercising, I'm affirming. I'm
Mm.
telling myself what kind of day I want to have because if you're not spiritual as an entrepreneur, I don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't know how
Mhm.
you make it. Like,
Hanging on by a thread.
I cannot make it. I need to tell myself that I got this. And this time I'm talking about every day. Because guess what? When I wake up the next day, I'm like, do I got this today? I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but I am not that disciplined where every day I already know what I need. No, I need to remind myself of who I
Hmm.
is. If I need to say
Yeah.
the way I need it. So waking up, praying, and then exercising. While I'm exercising, I'm like, okay, this is how today's gonna be. We're gonna
Mm.
achieve everything today. My emails are gonna be open. My clients are gonna respond. Just affirming the things I want to happen that day. So in affirming that, it just gives me energy and I just feel good. So that's
Mhm.
really it. That when I don't exercise in the morning, it messes me up. Like I'm thrown off. And then of
Mhm.
course, after I exercise, I write my gratitude list because the devil always tries to remind you of the problems always stand out more. What
Mhm.
you're not doing always stands out more. And so every morning for the last 4 years now? Yeah, 4 years without fail. Maybe I'll miss a day or two every like quarter or something, like not even regular. Like I am very, very intentional about writing down 5 things that I'm grateful for. And it always starts with my life. Like, God, I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
I literally woke up this morning. That is in itself a celebration. So
Yes.
reminding myself of that, it just makes all the problems, it makes them so tiny. Like it's so tiny, so tiny.
Yeah, I have a gratitude alarm on my phone that I got from Donnie Wiggins. She has
I
like an
love her.
8:30. Yeah, me too. She has an 8:30 gratitude alarm to as a reminder to be express gratitude for something that happened that day, like something in particular or whatever in particular that happened that day. So now I have my mom doing it too. So I had that on my alarm, my
It's so
phone every single day. Gratitude is so
Oh,
important.
it's so important. It's so important because I think something happens when you are grateful. Because when you are grateful, it eliminates sadness. It takes care of depression. It takes care
Hmm.
of anxiety. It is the cure for most things. Like I can't even, when my mom died and I literally felt myself slipping into a state of the D word,
Hmm.
it was my gratitude list that saved my life.
Mm.
And because that's why it's important to have certain disciplines in place because whew, if I
Yeah.
didn't, and it wasn't motivation that got me up during that time. I was like, forget, I'm like, I'm gonna die. Like everybody gonna die. Like, what's the point? I don't want to do none of this. Like, who
Yeah.
cares? My mom is dead. Like, are you kidding me? It
Mhm.
was my discipline that woke me up. Not my, I wasn't motivated. Motivation is just a joke. The
Mhm.
discipline, when
Mm.
you have a discipline and you're like, no matter what, I'm gonna do this, it saved my life because
Wow.
I was in a dark place. Like I was just like, what? I don't know how to feel. And I did
Mhm.
not recognize myself. My husband was like, what is going on? I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't even know how to solve it. And
Yeah.
then, but then I would get up, drag myself out of bed. I said, okay, but I still gotta pray and I still gotta work out and I still gotta write my gratitude list. And as I would do it and I continued doing it, I started feeling like myself and feeling better. And then
Yeah.
later on, motivation kicked in and out, but it was my discipline that helped me. So
Yeah.
having a discipline and a routine that is unshakable, that was it for me. That was it.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. That's so crucial because in those moments, like you say, you don't feel like doing nothing. Okay.
And you have every excuse too. That's a time that's
You have
dangerous because people be like, girl, I know,
take the time you
stay in
need.
bed. Right. No, I'm like, no, I don't need to take my time. Like, this is a dark, but nobody, like, people were like, she's grieving. I said, I know I'm grieving, but this is dark grief. Like, it's scary. Cause I'm like, what am I, how do I get out of this? It
Mhm.
was, it was the discipline that saved my life. Like, literally saved my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What's something that you wish more people ask you about when it comes to entrepreneurship, or just something you love to talk about, but you never really get to talk about it?
The things that I failed at. Like people
Mhm.
always want to, so how do you do that? And I'm like, the things that I failed, like the mistakes that I made, the times when I look like Boo Boo the Fool, like those are the times, because I feel like I learned more from my failures than I did with some of the success that happened was like, oh, God, this is you, but some of course you worked for, but some of it is like, whoa, I didn't think this was going to lead to this and lead to this and lead to this.
Mhm.
But the failures were so painful that you learn so much from them. So I
Yeah.
think I wish more people would ask me about my failures. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, we could do a whole podcast episode about that.
That sounds like a great, I'm here. I'm here for it.
Yes, I love it. So at the end of the day, I don't even remember what you said the last time, but what would you like your legacy to be with everything that you're doing? I mean, the legacy is strong already with the 3 babies. They over there learning about finances and music and all the things. Like, but what do you want your legacy to be when people reflect about your contribution to the industry and how you made them feel and all of those things?
I think it's mindset. I think it's the shift of mindset. So, oh my God, Jane recommended this book and my whole life changed because somebody did it for me. My mother-in-law recommended one book. It was just one book, babe. It was sitting on her. I came to visit then my boyfriend. I came to visit. I went over to his mom's house. And she had this book on the counter. I'm like, Mom, what's that? She said, oh, it's the power of your subconscious mind. I just got it. A friend recommended it. I haven't read it yet. I was like, what is it about? Picked it up. That was it for me. That book changed my, just one book. So if I could be that impact to someone else, yeah, the legacy of education and mindset shift is just it. Those are the things I would love to be my legacy.
I love it. Do you have anything that's coming up next that you can share?
Yes, my goal is to, okay, working on a plan to get more students in my school. So I'm working now with my VA, who's amazing, and we're coming up with a plan to, create more of an environment where I can get more students in my course, because I have a big goal this year to have more students. So right now we're in the planning phase, and I'm excited. So we're going to relaunch the Start Your Wig Business Challenge, and this time I think it's going to be called Start Your Online Business Challenge, because we saw a lot of students that were not wig makers, and we were like, wait, what about the people that didn't sign up because they thought it was just only about wigs? So we're trying to make that decision now in terms of just like starting a new challenge, but we'll see.
Okay, you can do both.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, before I let you go reluctantly, because I just love chatting with you,
It's fun.
I have to ask you the Friends of Beauty rapid fire questions. So whatever comes to your mind first, you can spit it out. If you need to elaborate, that's fine. So the first one is, what are the top 3 keys to your success so far?
Ooh, I would say education, mindset, and love.
Education, mindset, and love. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you measure your success?
Is how much time I have to do stuff like this. Like
Mhm.
not being too busy to do the stuff that's not really business related. More of being able, okay, if I'm able to be in a situation where I can tell my story, that's how I measure success. Because for a while, I didn't even have time to do that.
Yeah.
So buying my time back so I can really spread the word that I feel like I need to spread has been my measure of success. Because that means I got my stuff together. That means I have people in place. That means I have systems in place. So that's, being able to buy my time back so I can kind of spread the word in a different way is my measure of success.
I love it. What is the best advice you've ever received, or a piece of advice that just always sticks with you?
Read more. I know my mentor, all he talks about is just pick up a book, Jane. Pick up a book. And that's it gets so swept under the rug and it's underrated. But this morning I can't read a whole book every day. Yes, but I can read one page.
Yeah.
And every time I read a page, I'm like, I'll just read a page. I always learn something. I
Yep.
always learn something. I'm like, all that time I could have been learning, here I am. But just read a book. That right there. Because I've been able to teach myself how to homeschool, how to start a business, how to do my hair, how to start investing in the stock market. Like the big things right now in my life that I'm really proud of, I got from books. My mindset shift, books. So all the success that I feel like I've attained to the other people's eyes, right? Because for me, success is different, but what's viewed as success to the world, I got all of them from books.
Incredible. That's why I say reading is fundamental.
It really is.
Yeah. What advice would you give to another mompreneur, someone that's a parent and also has a business, who is just having a hard time and they're just like, something's got to give. I don't know. I'm stuck.
There's no such thing as work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a trap that I fell into and a lot of women fall into. There'll be seasons where you need to just push, right? You may not see the kids as often. You just focus and push and understand that you're planning on being in another season where you could just be, right? So I think for me, when I would push, I'll feel guilty about being a mom. And then when I'll be a mom, I'll feel guilty about it. So you were not giving your 100% in any of the spaces. So now when I'm working, like during like peak time, I'm in my zone. I'm working. And then when I'm with the kids, I am all in, phones turned off. I'm on the floor, cake in my face. I go all in. So there's no half and half, right? So that balance is a farce. Like, I feel like do the thing you need to do and be the person you need to be, and just be that in that moment and focus on it and do it to the best of your ability, and don't feel guilty. Guilt takes away from the work at hand. Right. So a lot of moms right now, like, when I talk to my parents, some of them are in tears. Like, it's like, Jane, I'm really, my husband and I were in St. Lucia, and I met one of my family members, and she works a lot. She's like, Jane, I see you with your kids. And I'm like, I'm in a different season. Don't compare my season to your season. I was in your season once, and I couldn't do what, don't do that. That comparison of seeing me, my season where I'm homeschooling, I'm doing that. Girl, I wasn't doing that 5 years ago. This is new. So you need to focus on this season so you can go to the next season. Right? So understanding your season and just planning within it and not feeling guilty, knowing that you're preparing for the next season to be better. That's it.
I love that. That is powerful. That is so powerful. Thanks for sharing that, for real. That's powerful. What is a resource that helps you in your business that you can share with the Friends in Beauty community?
Oh my gosh, virtual assistant. I don't even know what's better than that. Girl, I don't know what's better than that, because whatever you don't know, your VA knows. What are we talking about?
I know that's right.
What are we talking about? Whatever you don't know, your VA knows. Like, okay, we sit here trying to learn you don't have time to learn everything. Learn how to do that, learn how to do that. No, get a VA that will do it all. And then you can be cooking, some Nigerian food in the kitchen, because that's what I be doing.
Okay. Some of that egusi. I need that.
Right? Oh, I made that 2 weeks ago. Yes. So, get you somebody who can assist you with your business so you can do the things that you do best. And I feel like there are times when we need to learn certain things. Yes, you need to have an idea, but we don't need to be experts at everything.
Right. Get somebody else to do it.
Get somebody else to do it.
I love it. Yes. Okay. So the last one is just a statement that I want you to repeat and just say, my name is blank, and the key to longevity and success is blank, whatever you think it is.
Okay. Should I say my name is Jane?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Jane. The key to success and longevity is education, period. Because, like, look what's going on right now. We got crypto, right? If you're not educating yourself on AI and crypto and where money is going, you are going to be left behind. And in 10 years, something else is going to come up. But if you have that mindset of the growth mindset of wanting to learn, you will always be on point. You will always be learning. You will be moving with everybody else, right? The people that are successful, as opposed to like, nah, this is how I'm going to do it. Some people haven't picked up a book in 10 years, and you don't listen to podcasts. You don't seek a higher education. You don't go to conferences or seminars. Like, you're just in the same place mentally, but you know all the housewives, you watch all the Netflix shows. Like, no, education.
Go ahead and invest in yourself.
Yes.
Well, before you go, you have to share your social media and all that stuff. I don't want her to go. That's why I'm acting like this. You have to share all the things you want people to stay connected with you. You can always come back.
You can find me at thevirginhairfantasy.com or my personal Instagram, where I go there and I shout. You can do it too. I do my motivational stuff on my personal pages at the Jane Harris. And just hit me up.
Thank you so much, Jane. It's been an absolute pleasure again. Like I said, make sure y'all go back to episode 150 so you can learn more about the Virgin Hair Fantasy. But this was an absolute pleasure. And like I said, you can come back whenever you want. Just let me know. Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with another friend in beauty. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Rate and leave a 5-star review so that other friends in beauty can find the show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, #Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.